Hello everyone, how are you doing? It's been quite a while since I posted on YouTube, but then I looked at what's happening out there with all the tariff from Trump. You all heard about the tariff, and I was thinking this is something that I really need to look into and think over with you guys what's happening and how things are going to roll as far as we can predict. Nobody's a prophet, specifically not me, but what we definitely can understand based on the past, what's going to happen in this round of so-called economic war between China and the States. So a lot of vendors in the retail space and on Amazon, online space, and all the spaces actually are quite worried right now because of the tariff. 100% of tariff raise that was promised by Trump 2 or 3 days ago means a total of about 135% overall. 135% overall, that's quite a big number. So I wanted to jump together with you and look at the news a little bit and then understand what is going to happen if we can predict anything. So this is a website I sometimes visit. There's a lot of them, but this one is just organized nicely, retaildive.com. And here I can see like recent news about retail. And first of all, when I opened this this morning, I thought, okay, what's going to be the rate of bad news and what's going to be the rate of stories, articles about the tariff issue and versus the rest of them, okay? So immediately you can see top stories here is about Levi's, said it could double its US store count, designer brand CFO to exit, Lowe's close on a deal, acquire foundation, cancel, nothing about the tariff. When the latest tariff war went around with between China and the States, like a couple of months ago, I think 6 or 7 months, I would open this website and all over the website, everything was about tariff, like at least like 90%, okay? And it's not happening now, which is very good. And I'll explain to you shortly why. The weekly closeout, Adidas bets on safety footwear, Helen and Troy. Okay, next. Oh, here we go. Second article, tariff force more Orvis store closure. Now, Orvis is not a big retailer, and I'm quite a bit surprised that they're going to close any stores due to the tariff war. But then if you can look at this, they were scaling down a year ago in order to focus more on sport fishing and bird hunting customer, okay? They were anyway scaling down. Not that it's not affected by the tariff, it is, but let's keep on scrolling and see the real big picture. Incentive marketing, the next frontier for retail loyalty, Stitch Fix pilot, generative AI, Body Shop returns to the US market. These are good news. Unlikely retailers winning Halloween. Shoppers seek value deals the holiday season. This is another topic which I want to talk about. But anyway, Uniqlo to expand US footprint. Everything here, or most of the things, are about expanding. How to run A stores in a B mall, not relevant. Calvin Klein, parent company named chief supplier chain officer. Okay. Dollar Tree, this is the big news of today. Dollar Tree to open 1.25 million square foot Arizona distributing center. That means that on top of the, I don't know how many they have, Dollar Tree, they have, I think, 16,000 or something like that. Let's take a look. They have, yeah, 16.5. That means they are still expanding, and they are probably the biggest chain store in terms of numbers of stores in the US, okay? I don't think there's a bigger one. Dollar Tree, General Dollar, they are the top. Fourways Walmart is scaling AI to unified supply chain. Gap recruits micro-influencers. Amazon Fresh decides to shutter. Okay, this is again not so good news, but again, it's, you know, 2 out of what we've seen, like I think 5 or 6 good news until here and only 2 bad ones. Will shoppers still see what it is? Okay, this is not relevant. IKEA operator requires AI logistic. A lot of stuff about AI, by the way. What Amazon shippers should prioritize this peak season. Bed Bath to announce franchise plan, which is very interesting. Bed Bath was purchased by Overstock last year, and since then we're hearing quite good news coming from their side. Again, another one, Nordstrom returns to San Francisco this week. The department store service-oriented merchandise free concept will open 2 years after its downtown flagship and off-price stores shut down. They shut it down, now they're reopening it. What does it mean about retail? It means that retail is alive and kicking. It's funny when I think about it because back in 2016, 17, 18, and 19, until COVID hit it, like 3 or 4 years, I've been talking with so many people, having conversation, deep ones, about the retail apocalypse, which have never happened. What I have seen is something interesting, which I call the black hole. No black hole. This is how I call it. There's no black hole. Whenever a company, I'll explain, whenever a company, a retail chain store is closing 10, 20, 50, 200 stores, whatever the number is, there's always another retailer that's going to take over and open them under their name and make the profit out of that other company loss. Okay. There was no retail apocalypse, and sorry for that, and there's not probably going to be one. Okay, I've been looking at this over and over again. I was a little bit scared back in 2016 when I've seen some of the big companies that I worked with, including not Walmart, but it was, I think, JCPenney. JCPenney started going towards bankruptcy back in 2016 or 17, if I remember correct. I knew it's going to come. I saw that they have lack of payments and a lot of issues internally. I saw that they are buying not the right things, not up to date, trends and everything. And I thought this is not going to the right direction. And eventually they closed, and hey, they reopened and they are alive, okay? Alive and working. Same thing happened with Toys R Us and a few others. So what I'm saying here is that, yes, the tariff is affecting the market. But what I do want to say is that, and this is the main thing here that I posted making this video for, what I believe, and again, I'm not a prophet, but this is what I think is going to happen. And I think the rest of the market is also thinking the same. And that's why you don't see a lot of bad news in all the articles. What I think is going to happen, that is, we're going to see a replay of what we've seen last time. Trump is raising a big number, threatening to raise a big number of tariff. China is threatening from the other side. It's going to be back and forth. But eventually, and I'm not qualified to analyze Trump, but as far as we've seen until now, Trump is a deal-oriented person, right? We've all seen that. Everybody talks about him being able to make best deals on earth. And I think it's all about deals that he's looking for. So he's using his force to threat them, but eventually he wants to close a deal. Nobody, including Trump, wants to see the final consumer in the USA paying 30%, 50%, or double price for their consumer products. Because if that's going to happen, that's going to kill the market in the US. And the last thing on earth that Trump wants to have is a lousy economy. Make America great again. He also means, and probably mainly means, about economy. Okay, there's a lot of topics he's dealing with. That's none of my business and none of my issues in this video, and specifically when it comes to retail. But again, I'm trying to think, what the heck is he doing? And it looks like he's trying to threaten them so that he can get a better deal and get them to export the raw material he wants. There's some restrictions about a couple of raw materials that affecting, I think, the AI and technology industry in the US, and that's why this all restarted again. And we woke up like 2 days ago to this news. But again, the reason why we don't see a lot of bad news about it is because probably most of the companies and most of the people do understand that this is temporary. It's going to be resolved one way or the other, and it's going to happen very fast. One thing you can see very clearly in terms of when it comes to Trump, that he's about closing deals and closing them very quickly. Okay, even with countries, for instance, that he was referring to as almost an enemy kind of countries. Okay, and let's not go to politics, but again, economy-wise, this is what I think is going to happen. So I don't think there's a reason to be panic. I don't think the reason not only to panic, but also no reason even to do extreme or any kind of steps right now. Let's just give it a couple of days, see how it's going to chill back, and I think it will. And even if it doesn't, if you remember last time when we spoke about it, if you check my YouTube videos from back early 2025, I was talking about, regardless and with regards to this crisis that we have seen on the tariff issue, I was talking about always having alternative. If you're manufacturing in China and you're exporting and shipping to the US, That's very good. That's what most of us are doing. But there's always a need to you, I think, to also check and try to source factories in India, in Vietnam, in Mexico, wherever it is. And I was doing it myself. When I was running my own brand, my own products, I was always making sure that I have some kind of backup somewhere in the world apart from China, because nobody knows what's going to happen. What if tomorrow there's going to be, God forbid, a big war between China and whatever, another country? This is going to affect really bad the business, right? So nobody wants to see that, but then you never know what's going to happen. We've seen in the last 4 or 5 years that very extreme things are happening in our world. Not going to go and dive into why these things are happening, although I'm doing it in my free time. But what I want to say is that you always need to have a backup. But from the other hand, no reason to panic. So thank you for listening. Stay tuned, and I'll see you also. Cheers.